Welcome to training session number 5, lesson number 17, Form Letter Templates. The Form Letter Templates module is used to create and/or maintain your custom form letter templates that are used in both the Form Letters module of the Patient Management Suite and the Marketing Export module. Let's take a look. Template type. There are 3 different types of letters you can base your custom form letter on. They are None, Physician Letter, and Purchase Agreement. None. This will create a letter not tied to either a physician letter or a purchase agreement. Physician letter. This will be used when creating a physician letter. Purchase agreement. This will be used when creating a purchase agreement. Next is form letter template name. This is where you name your new custom form letter. Assign header template. This is where you pick either no header or a header from a list of headers created. Top margin. This is where you can set the top margin for your custom form letter. One note here, if your form letter is getting cut off at the top when you print, you can adjust the margin here so that it no longer cuts off the top of your custom form letter. Now let's take a look at the toolbar. The toolbar is made up of useful tools to help you create your own custom form letter. The first group deals with fonts. This group includes bold, italic, underline, and strike through. The next group deals with horizontally aligning text. This group includes left align, center align, right align, and justify. The next group controls font face, size, and color. Font faces. Here you can choose from a selection of fonts which include Arial, Helvetica, and Times, just to name a few. Font sizes. Here you can choose the font size. Font color. Here you can choose a color for your fonts. The next group is for creating lists. You can create 2 types of lists, bulleted and numbered. Bulleted list. You can choose between circle, disc, or square for your bullet type. Numbered list. You can choose between a selection of different types of numbering that include numbers, Roman numerals, or letters. The next group is indent. Using these 2 buttons, you can increase or decrease the indentation of your text. The last item on the top line is page break. With this, you can manually add a page break to your custom form. The second row of the toolbar starts out with Find and Replace. You can use this to find and replace text in your custom form. The next group are the Undo and Redo buttons. These can be very handy for undoing a mistake or redoing if you decide that you did not want to undo the change. The next button is Source Code. This will show you the HTML code that lies behind your custom form letter. If you or someone in your office understands HTML and CSS, you can do some very detailed customization using the source code. The next button on the toolbar is for creating tables. Tables are made up of cells, which can be very helpful in laying out your document. Let's look at an example of using a table. For this example, we will place some text between 2 graphics. Using a normal layout, this would be very difficult. However, using a table for this layout, it becomes quite easy. First, we need to create the table. We will be creating a table with 1 row and 3 columns. In the first cell, we will place a copy of the first graphic. In the second cell, we will add the text. And in the third cell, we will add our second graphic. We can adjust the layout within the cell by using the text align buttons. The first cell will be left aligned, the second cell will be center aligned, and the last cell will be right aligned in our example. Right mouse clicking in the cell will bring up a menu which will let us set the different properties for the cell. So for example, by clicking on the cell and then the cell properties, we can set the cell width. Also, by right-clicking on the table and then selecting Table Properties, we are able to go into the table style and change the border to 0 so that the table border does not show up on our custom form. Next we have horizontal line. This will place a divider line in your custom form letter. The next group contains subscript and superscript buttons, followed by an emoticon button, just in case you want to fill your custom form with smiley faces. The next group contains 3 buttons: Show Invisible Characters, Show Blocks, and Non-Breaking Space. Show Invisible Characters. This will display any hidden characters in your form letter. Show Blocks. This will show you how your form letter is divided up into blocks. This is useful if you are having trouble placing text in a certain block. Clicking the Show Blocks button will show you if your text is in or outside of the text block. Here you can see this form is divided into blocks. The last button in this group is Non-Breaking Space. This has the same function as the space bar on your keyboard. This next button is what makes custom forms valuable. It is the Merge Fields button. This button contains a drop-down list of the merge fields you can place in your custom form. I'm going to take a moment here to explain something. The list of merge fields in the drop-down change depending on the type of letter you have selected in the letter type field above. None, Physician Letter, and Purchase Agreement all have some of the same and some different fields available, depending on which is chosen. The last 2 buttons on the toolbar are Merge Preview and Print Preview. The Merge Preview button allows you to quickly preview your form letter layout. You will notice here that your form letter is populated with data. This is dummy data that the system uses to give you a full preview of your form letter. The Print Preview button lets you print out a sample form letter for you to review. Let's open the sample physician letter and take a look at the merge fields. You can see here the patient's first name merge field and the patient's last name merge field. Here we have the patient's date of birth. Here's the doctor's salutation and the doctor's last name. Now let's take a look at these in preview. Here you can see our patient's name, his date of birth, and the doctor to whom the letter is addressed. When creating or modifying a template, there are a couple things I would like to bring to your attention. 1. To place a merge field into your custom form letter, place the cursor in the form letter where you would like the merge field to be placed. Click the Merge Field drop-down. From the Merge Field list, click the merge field you would like to add. Once clicked, the merge field will appear in your custom form letter. 2. When adding a line break, using the Enter key on your keyboard will create a paragraph. This will look like an extra space in your template. In order to add a line break, without the extra space, you will need to use the Shift plus Enter keys. Here's an example using Shift plus Enter. Here's an example using Enter only. If you would like to copy and paste content in your template, use the Control key plus the C key to copy and the Control key plus the V key to paste your content. On the left-hand side of the screen is a listing of existing form letter templates. Prism Connect has provided these templates for you to use as is or for you to use as a starting point for creating your own custom form letters. Now we will take a look at header templates. Header templates are used to create headers for your custom form letters. Not all form letters will use a header, but for the ones that do, you have the ability to create custom headers. To create a custom header, click on the Header Templates button located under the existing form letters template list. You will notice here that you have the same toolbar as you do when creating a custom form letter. You can add a clinic name, a logo, an address block, etc. Once you have created your new header, click the OK button to save or the Cancel button to cancel. Let's take a look at our custom form letters in action. Here we have a physician letter. You can see the merge fields automatically filled in. And here we have a purchase agreement. Again, you can see the merge fields automatically filled in. The form letter templates let you create a number of different types of form letters to be used for your clinic. The form letter templates can also be used in the Marketing Exports module, not just the Form Letters module. Here you will be able to run batch letters from the export. Additional detailed information can be found in the Marketing Exports video. But for now, let's just take a quick look. Before we finish, I would like to take a look at some of the merge fields available that are concatenations of two or more specific fields that are commonly used together. I've created this template to show you these merge fields in action. Let's look at some of the most common ones and see what they do and how they work. First is clinic address block. Next is licensed professional with underline. Next is licensed professional signature with underline. Next is clinician title with underline. Up next is clinician license number with underline. Here we have doc name address. Here we have patient name address. Here's patient doctor name address. Now let's take a look at two purchase agreement specific merge fields. Again, I have created a sample template so that we can see these in action. Let's take a look. First is PA Detailed Lines Dynamic Table. This will create a dynamic table for purchase agreements, which can include one line item up to 8 line items, and the table will grow dynamically. Next is PA Detailed 8-Line Static Table. This table will stay at 8 lines regardless of the number of items that are added. This completes training session number 5, lesson number 17, form letter templates.